What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Francisco Toro, my channel is Pacha Toro, and today we're going to talk about 7 things that men find annoying when social dancing. So I think my other video about the 10 things that the ladies found annoying when social dancing was quite popular. I think it's only fair that we have it from both sides. So we've done the ladies side and now we're gonna get into the men's side. So stick around if you want to find out what those 7 things are. We're gonna start from number 7, which is the least painful, to number 1, which is the most painful. So for the most part, unlike the other video with the ladies, this is not really gonna be about hygiene. Ladies are well aware of those things, unlike guys. If you look at that video, check it out. Let's get started. So starting off at number 7 is no connection. So it is quite annoying when guys are dancing and their lady is just not very well connected, whether that's through the hands or through physical connection, like maybe she doesn't have her arm on the shoulder. This is quite common for beginners usually, or maybe sometimes, maybe the lady just doesn't, maybe it's the guy, right? Maybe the guy has bad hygiene or he doesn't smell good. In any case, this is something that it can be quite annoying, and that's why we're starting it off at number 7. Number 6 is when the ladies dip themselves. So for the most part, the guys would be leading the dip. However, on rare occasions, it does happen where the ladies would just happen to dip themselves. Maybe it's at the end of the song, for example. But either way, it does happen, and it could cause for some issues because let's say we're trying to maybe just finish the move, right? Or not finish the move, but finish the dance, and all of a sudden, if it's a small dip, it's not a big deal, but there are those occasions where it's going to be a big dip to the point where like you could lose your balance and potentially drop yourself and the lady. And I have seen that happen. I don't know whose fault it was. I don't know if it was the guy's fault or the lady's fault. Either way, somehow there was a couple on the floor. That's all that I remember. I was just like, no. But either way, that is something that does happen. And whether it's the guy or the lady's fault, it doesn't matter. In order to prevent this, you just gotta be safe out there, and try not to dip yourself. If it happens, it happens. Number 5. So number 5 is a sharp heel to the toe, and usually this doesn't happen with the lady that we're dancing with. From my experience, it normally happens from maybe another couple that's nearby. Maybe it's a crowded venue, but either way, that definitely hurts. From my experience, it doesn't really happen that often. I would say I've gotten stepped on quite a few times, and for the most part, I didn't really feel it. There was only one time in the past maybe like 5 years, that I really remember. I still remember that day actually. But in any case, the lady, I think she was wearing like a very high heel. It was quite sharp, but yeah, I just remember it going into my ankle, and man, I am such a baby. I basically like almost had to stop because it was so painful. Like, to be honest, I think the ladies have it a lot worse because they're wearing shoes that are exposed, right? Whereas guys, like, ours are fully enclosed, and whether you're wearing leather shoes or whatever, like, for the most part, you're not really gonna feel it, which is why I haven't experienced this that often. But when it happens, man, that hurts. And like I said, like, the ladies, they experience this much more often than guys do. I would say I hear a story maybe once a night whenever I go out, of somebody just like being stepped on, and the girls, their shoes are exposed, right? So it's not just like a painful thing. It might lead to a cut, maybe a nail coming off, or I don't know. It can get quite nasty. So I think for the most part, this doesn't really affect guys, but that can be quite annoying when it does hit you. And yeah, it's annoying. I think what I'm starting to learn now is that guys have a lower threshold of pain because a lot of these things the ladies they deal with much more often than we do. We're just a bunch of babies. Alright, next is number 4. And number 4 on this list is getting scratched on the face. So again, it doesn't really happen that often, but when it does, I've had personally my face scratched, or maybe like my eye poked, maybe once or twice. But in any case, it's like, it's not really, like, when it happens, I'm not blaming the lady. It just kind of happens. So just something to keep in mind when you're dancing. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen at least one time. But you know, we're all dancing, right? We're all having fun, so there's no point in getting upset about something like that. And you know what? Now that I think about it, this might actually be, I think getting hit on the heel from a lady's shoes, like if it's sharp, I think that's a little bit more painful, but I think getting scratched to the face, at least from my experience, happens more often. So that's why I put this as number 4. Okay, now moving on to number 3. I've listed number 3 as the dreaded hair whip. And I know a lot of guys have experienced this, and depending on the hairstyle, like if it's a ponytail, you know, that might be okay. That might not be as painful, but I know we've all had that hair whip with the braided ponytail, right? It's the one that's braided, and that thing, oh my god, that feels like a whip. Okay, and like, I think for the most part, guys, we're used to getting whipped to the face, right? Just because when you're turning a girl, like depending on the speed and how many times you're turning her, it's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen, and it's to the point where like I can spin someone with my eyes open and not even flinch, right? Because you're just used to it. However, ponytail, that's the one you always have to look out for. There are certain techniques that you can do to prevent from getting whipped on the face. I know a lot of guys, when they're turning a girl, they have this, and it kind of like hits their forearm first before it hits their face. So in a way, it reduces the momentum of the ponytail, and therefore the force, right? So it's not as painful. But there are times when, you know, when the braid is too strong, it just feels like a whip. And man, that's just super painful, which is why this is number 3, and that's just getting whipped on the face by a ponytail. Alright, moving on to number 2. Number 2 is getting elbow to the face. Now I think everyone saw this one coming. It happens a lot if you're just starting out. Both the males and the females, leads and follows, it's gonna happen, right? You're gonna get elbow to the face. And I think when this happens, from my experience, I know ladies feel, you know, they feel sad about it, because, you know, just imagine getting whipped or not whipped, but getting elbow to the face. Like that obviously it's painful, but at least personally, I never blame the girl, because it could also be the lead's fault by not properly judging the lady's level of follow, right? So it's not necessarily the lady's fault. It's, for the most part, most of these things I would say are the guy's fault, unless she tips herself. But you know, that's why leading very clearly is important. Yeah, getting elbow to the face it just is what it is, right? When that happens, you just have to kind of laugh it off. You know, it's not a big deal. Although I remember one time I got elbowed so hard that I almost got knocked out. I just remember like stopping the dance floor because my head was feeling dizzy, right? That was probably the worst one. Even then, like, I wasn't upset. I was a little dizzy and I was a little shocked of what happened. I had to like regain my consciousness and remember where I am and what am I doing. But even then, like, you know, I just kind of laughed it off. I felt bad for the, I felt more bad for the girl, because she was like, oh my god, are you okay? Right? And she kind of wanted to stop dancing, and I was like, no, it's fine. But yeah, so for the ladies watching out there, if it does happen, you know, don't feel bad. You know, it's not your fault. It's most likely the guy's fault, which I think, actually, I don't even remember what happened before that. That's how strong it was. But yeah, anyway. Number 2 is getting elbow to the face, and you know, if you're a guy and if that does happen to you, again, don't take it seriously. I know if you're a beginner, you might think that you know what you're doing, but it's just an accident. It's gonna happen. Next is number 1. Now you might be thinking to yourself, what could be more painful than getting elbow to the face? Nothing, right? There's like no way that anything could be more painful. However, you would be wrong, and this is why my number 1 item on this list is heartbreak. What I mean by heartbreak is that if you're asking a girl to dance, she says no, okay, fine, she says no, it is what it is, that's totally fine, that's normal. However, if she says no, you walk away, right, and you're just observing the dances, but then from your peripheral vision, you see you see someone ask her, and you're like, "Phew, this guy, yeah, he's gonna get heartbroken. She's gonna say no." But then she goes out to dance, and you're just like, what? How could this be? What did I do? Did I smell bad? Was my breath smelly? Did I have something on my face? Like, what happened, right? This is heartbreaking. As a guy, like, ever since you first start dancing, we're used to people saying no, right? It is what it is. It happens. People are gonna say no, whatever. And this one is a little bit different because she says no and then she says yes to somebody else. Depending on how long you've been dancing, actually maybe not. I think it still affects some people, even to this day, to be honest. But it doesn't really affect me anymore because the way that I look at it, I don't know the full story, right? Like, I don't know if she was looking at me before, maybe she didn't like how I danced, or she promised to dance with this other person and she told him that it was a break. But even then, sometimes she might tell you. But either way, like, we don't know the full story. I've also had some friends that have done that, and you know, they feel bad, but you know, it happens. Like, basically what I'm trying to say is, like, if you're a lead or if you're a guy, don't take this personally. It happens, you know, maybe she's more comfortable dancing with this person or whatever. But yeah, I think this is definitely valid, like being heartbroken on the dance floor. I think that's a real thing. So yeah, guys, what do you think of my list? Did I miss something? Is there anything that you would have put on here? Do you agree with some of these? Do you disagree? Please let me know in the comments below, and curious to hear your thoughts about whether or not you agree with these, you know. And also for the ladies, do you guys agree with this too? Perhaps I missed something? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you liked and enjoyed it. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Follow me on Instagram as well. My handle is Bachatoro. I'll put it here for you to see. So now that I've listed all these things, I just want to quickly summarize that basically everything that I've listed is the guy's fault. Okay? Whether she's dipping herself, guy's fault. Whether she's elbowing you, guy's fault. If they step on your toe, guy's fault. If her lipstick is off, guy's fault. If her shoes are not matching, guy's fault. Okay, so no matter what we do, no matter what's happening on the dance floor, it's always going to be the guy's fault. Yep, it's just the way it is. So. Are they gone? All right, I think the ladies are gone. Okay, guys, let me tell you the real number one. The real number one reason that annoys us the most is this: asking the girl every single time to dance, okay? So what I mean by that is, if you go to Club A, you see girl A and you ask her to dance, she says no. Okay, that's fine, whatever, she'll say no, right? Go to Club B, see girl A, you ask her to dance, she says no. All right, you know, maybe my night is really off today. Go to Club C, you see the same girl, and she also says no. All right, and this may happen for months, years maybe. And what we have to understand here is that she's gonna keep saying no, right? So what you need to do is stop asking her to dance immediately. Let me explain why. So for this type of girl, I've labeled her as the iceberg girl, okay? At the very top, what you're only seeing is just the tip of the iceberg, and that's her no. But what you don't see is all the reasons why she could be saying no, you know, and they could include things like, oh, I don't like the way he dances, or maybe he doesn't take good care of his hygiene, perhaps his timing is off, perhaps XYZ. There could be several reasons why she will not want to dance with you. You can't expect the iceberg to melt right away, right? You have to continue growing as a person, as a dancer. So yeah, the only way to melt the iceberg is to continue to improve yourself. And whether that's improving your personality, whether that's improving your dancing skills, whether that's improving your hygiene, whether it's improving whatever, right? It could be several reasons. and you just have to continue improving yourself, and this is gonna give you the best chance of melting Iceberg Girl. So yeah guys, pro tip, don't spend your time and energy on Iceberg Girl until you spend your time and energy on yourself. So that's the real number one. I'm hoping that this will help someone out there that's experiencing this problem. I know a lot of guys do in fact have an Iceberg Girl, and you know, you just gotta stop. You gotta stop, otherwise you're gonna keep hurting yourself, and trust me, you don't want to continue hurting yourself. So yeah guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Curious to hear the perspective from the males and the females. Please let me know down below. Thanks again, talk to you in the next one.